Hello, I'm Craig Brelsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with executives of two public companies. First up is OS Therapies. OS Therapies stands out in the biopharma landscape with its dedicated mission to develop novel treatments for osteosarcoma, OS, and other solid tumors. Through its innovative product candidates such as OST-HER2 and OST-TADC, the company is not only addressing a significant gap in pediatric and young adult cancer care, but also expanding its therapeutic reach to a broader range of solid tumors. As it advances through clinical stages, OS Therapies could significantly alter the trajectory of cancer treatment for a demographic long in need of breakthrough therapies. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is Can-Fite BioPharma, an advanced clinical stage drug development company with a platform of oral drugs designed to address multi-billion-dollar markets in the treatment of oncology and inflammatory diseases. The company has two drug candidates in advanced stages of development: piclidenoson for the treatment of psoriasis and namodenoson for the treatment of advanced liver cancer. For each of the drugs, a registration plan has been agreed with both the United States Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency, and enrollment of patients for a pivotal Phase 3 clinical study is ongoing for liver cancer and underway for psoriasis. Namodenoson also has a robust anti-cancer effect against pancreatic cancer. Now, due to the liver protective effect of namodenoson, a Phase 2b study for the treatment of NASH or MASH is currently enrolling patients. Piclidenoson and namodenoson have an excellent safety profile with experience in over 1,600 patients in clinical studies to date. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Now, before we get to the first interview, our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. For me, the fun is to build, not to manage. I look for what's available, what is possible to do. That's the overriding consideration. There are a lot of things I would have liked to do, but didn't have the means. This quote comes from Dr. Phil Frost, chairman of OPCO Health, and it is featured in Chapter 4 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with OS Therapies. Hello, today we have Paul Romness, CEO of OS Therapies, here with us in the studio. OS Therapies recently went public and is now trading on the New York Stock Exchange American under the ticker symbol OSTX. Paul, welcome.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's such a great honor to be here, and we're really excited about the IPO. It went really well. It's going to give us the financing we need. You know, capital markets are meant to be spurs of innovation, and we think that that's what this did with our IPO. It'll fund us through some financial revenues, milestones, which is often very rare in biotech.
Okay, so now you do have this IPO under your belt. Congratulations. That is a major capstone in a career that for you has been quite distinguished. You've worked at Johnson & Johnson, Amgen, other household names in the biotech and pharma field. How are you going to take these proceeds from the IPO and deploy them for the innovative solutions that OS Therapies represents?
Well, first of all, we have a clinical trial, Phase 2b trial that has been fully enrolled and with 41 kids receiving therapy. Our therapy is off-the-shelf immunotherapy that stimulates the body's immune system to fight cancer. Osteosarcoma is a type of bone cancer. It's very deadly. It happens about 1,000 times a year in the United States, 20,000 times, 20,000 kids get it a year globally.
And you happen to know someone who actually suffered from the disease?
Yes. After working in the biopharmaceutical industry my entire career, This became personal when my daughter's best friend was diagnosed with it in February of 2017.
Amazing that this disease has touched you personally, Paul. Now, how did you develop the drug?
So both of our platform technologies we licensed in. The first that's in the clinical trial that is being studied through the Children's Oncology Group in 21 facilities across the country was developed at the University of Pennsylvania by doctors Yvonne Patterson and Nicole Mason. What we're doing is stimulating the body's own immune system to go out and find the micrometastases that are trying to land in a cancer patient's lungs and brain. And just like in other cancers, if you think of friends or family that have had breast cancer, you resect the cancer, you blast the body with chemo and radiation, and if it doesn't come back, the patient lives the rest of their life in a relatively normal fashion. If it comes back not to the breast, not to the bone and osteosarcoma, but to the lungs and the brain, because the little micrometastases that have survived the chemotherapy that are somewhat Darwinian are looking for two things, oxygen and soft tissue. And where better to land than in the lungs and the brain? For them, not good for the patient. And this is where the survival rate decreases precipitously.
Paul, congratulations again on that recent IPO. Give us some more details on where you're going to use those funds.
The first priority for us is finishing the clinical trial that's ongoing at 21 facilities across the country, being managed by the Children's Oncology Group. Number one enroller of that trial is at St. Jude's. Of the 41 patients, 7 patients were enrolled at St. Jude's alone. We're going to pay for that trial. We'll get some readout clinical data by the end of the year. In the next few weeks, we're going to be meeting with the FDA around breakthrough designation, which will accelerate our approval as well. Once we do get approval, since we have a rare and pediatric disease designation, as well as fast track and orphan designation, we would receive a priority review voucher, which has $100 to $110 million value on the secondary markets. With OST-HER2, another indication that has been provisionally approved from the USDA is the canine indication for osteosarcoma. We'd already mentioned there are 1,000 kids a year in the United States, 20,000 globally that get osteosarcoma, but 30 to 40,000 dogs a year in the United States get osteosarcoma. It is the second highest killer of dogs to automobiles in large dogs. That's a huge opportunity for us, and we are currently identifying an out-licensing opportunity with an animal health company.
Now, I just wanted to hear that again. OST-HER2, your leading drug candidate, is available now for out-licensing in the canine.
For the canine indication, yes. It was provisionally approved by the USDA, and we are currently in discussions to out-license the canine indication. As I mentioned earlier, 30 to 40,000 dogs a year get osteosarcoma. It's a huge opportunity for the company. We also are looking to possibly out-license and be commercially available on the human osteosarcoma as soon as 18 to 24 months from now.
Let us turn now to another one of your platform technologies, Paul. That's your OST-TADC. This represents a significant step in targeted cancer therapy. How does this next generation antibody drug conjugate fit in with your platform?
So very exciting. As we talked about with OST-HER2, we're identifying micrometastases and trying to prevent them from landing in the lungs and the brain. ADCs are better described as cruise missile with payloads on it. And what we're trying to do is debulk large solid tumors. So both our platform technologies dovetail and complement each other nicely. The way the ADC work is you put a targeting ligand on the front of the cruise missile that attracts to a certain part of the body. And you are delivering payloads, and we can switch our payloads, cytotoxins, monoclonal antibodies, mRNAs, but our special sauces are silicone linkers, what we call linkers. And these are pH sensitive. It turns out the body is pH sensitive, has different pH levels throughout the body. A cancer environment is a higher acidity, lower pH. We can drop our payloads in specific parts of the body. That means that we can be more efficient, more effective with less side effects. There are some ADCs out on the market right now, and that's why it's such a hot market in the oncology space right now.
Well, best wishes with the FDA there, Paul. Now, let's just look a little bit more at the market opportunities. Where are you looking when it comes to market opportunities?
Well, in human osteosarcoma alone, even though it's a very rare disease, we have the total accessible market at about $1.5 to $1.7 billion. We also have multiple out-licensing opportunities with our linkers, with possibly out-licensing the human osteosarcoma to have a larger pharmaceutical company commercialize it for us globally. And that's hundreds of millions of dollars in out-licensing opportunities there. And then obviously the ADC market is extremely hot right now. And so as we move through our clinical development of our ADC, it will continue to drive value. Just in 2024, we have some revenue opportunities around out-licensing the canine, human, as well as the ADCs.
And with the canine osteo, what do you need to get to market?
Well, it's actually been provisionally approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, but the out-licensor who we are in negotiations with would have to do a couple quick studies, but that would be all part of our licensing agreement.
And that brings us to our next question, the next regulatory milestones your team is looking out for.
Well, we're going to meet with the FDA in the next few weeks to talk to them about OST-HER2 for osteosarcoma in humans around a breakthrough designation, which would increase our approval speed at the FDA. We also are going through some toxicity trials on our ADCs. In the next 9 to 12 months, once we get through those toxicity trials, we'll have a great opportunity to out-license those silicone linkers as well as the conditionally active multiple payloads. There are drugs out there in the market that are ADCs that have some of the components that we're using, but they're only delivering one payload. We're going to deliver 3, 6, 9, even 12 payloads on each ADC because we have designed it in a stoichiometric pattern.
You, of course, as we've mentioned, you've been with Johnson & Johnson, Amgen. You've got decades of experience in biotech and pharma. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and about the other key players on your team.
I appreciate the kind words, but it's the team you build, right? And so we're blessed enough to have not only the founder of one of the founding scientists of our OST-HER2, we also have Dr. Robert Pettit, trained immunologist who helped found the technology along with the University of Pennsylvania. We also have Dr. Uta Varner, who is one of the founding scientists around the ADC technology. In addition to Drs. Varner and Pettit, some other key players in OS Therapies is our executive chairman, Dr. Colin Goddard, who sold his company OSI for $4.1 billion. And so we've got the brains and the historic, the institutional knowledge behind these platforms, along with a management team that's brought major pharmaceutical products to market and has done multiple deals in the space.
Give our investing community out there the essential value proposition, Paul. Why should anyone take a look at OS Therapies right now?
We've added another platform technology, which happens to be the hottest technology in biotech right now, ADCs. And we have some very specific things that we think will make this the next generation ADC. But also we added the canine indication and all other indications for the OST-HER2. So if it works in osteosarcoma like it looks like it is in our clinical trial, and we know it works in dogs because the USDA has provisionally approved it, that it should probably work in other large solid tumors as well. And that's what we're looking to expand the market for, and also to support the ADC development. We have 3 different milestones that we think will bring in revenue this year. 1, the canine osteosarcoma out-licensing. 2, if we out-license the human osteosarcoma for commercialization. And 3, if we get through our toxicity trials and out-license some of our linker technology and some of our payload technology in the ADC space.
Paul, thank you for being with us again. It's been a great interview.
Thanks, Craig.
I am really excited about this company. You've got near-term out-licensing opportunities. You've got a stellar management team. It's all looking really good. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Craig.
Now, to get more information on OS Therapies, visit ostxinfo.com. There, you'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free. and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies just like OS Therapies. Be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's move on to our next interview today with Can-Fite BioPharma. Hello, we're here with Matti Farbstein, Chief Executive Officer of Can-Fite. Matti, welcome back.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you for having me.
Can-Fite has a robust pipeline with multiple late-stage assets in clinical development. Let's start with a broad overview of your programs.
Okay, we have 2 drugs in the clinic. The first drug is namodenoson for liver and oncology. The first indication is advanced liver cancer patients, where we are enrolling patients to a pivotal phase 3 study. The second one is pancreatic cancer, where we are about to initiate a phase 2A study. And the last indication is MASH, fatty liver. It's an ongoing, we're enrolling patients to a phase 2B study based on a very successful phase 2A. The second drug is piclidenoson. The first indication is psoriasis, where we are about to initiate a pivotal phase 3 study. The second one is a rare disease by the name of Lowe syndrome, where we are about to initiate a phase 2 shortly. And we have also a partner that took the piclidenoson for dogs' osteoarthritis. We share the positive phase 2 study, and we are hoping to sign a license agreement shortly with this company.
Piclidenoson, Matti, showing significant anti-psoriatic effects in its phase 3 trials. What have been the key findings in those trials, and what are the next steps towards regulatory approval?
So we met our primary and secondary endpoint, which were PASI 75 and PGA, Physician Global Assessment. We have a pivotal phase 3 ready to go, agreed by the FDA and the EMA, and we will initiate the pivotal study by the fourth quarter of this year.
Now, Can-Fite has secured several out-licensing deals with significant upfront and milestone payments, Matti. How much have you received so far, and what could this mean for Can-Fite if you received regulatory approvals for your treatments?
$20 million received in upfront and milestone payments so far. $130 million are potential based on regulatory and sales milestones, and we will get double-digit royalties from the sales.
Matti, as you well know, your drugs are targeting severe unmet medical needs in areas such as liver cancer, psoriasis, and MASH. How big is the overall market opportunity you're aiming to address?
So the liver cancer market is expected to reach $6.3 billion by 2029. The psoriasis drug market, the focus is to grow up to $32 billion by 2028. And the market of MASH will reach $21.9 billion. As a company, across the indication that we are developing, we aim to reach around 10% to 30% of the markets.
Now let's look ahead. What are some milestones investors should be expecting over the next 6 to 12 months?
So in 24, we will initiate the pancreatic cancer study, the pivotal psoriasis study, and we are hoping to sign the licensing agreement of the osteoarthritis dogs. Next year, we are going to share the interim analysis of the pivotal phase 3 liver cancer study, and we will initiate the Lowe syndrome rare disease study.
In summary, Matti, what is the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Can-Fite right now?
Can-Fite has novel therapeutic approach in multi-billion-dollar markets. We have all drugs, very safe. The safety is proven and the efficacy in 2 pivotal phase 3 studies for liver cancer and psoriasis. We are monetizing the advanced portfolio through corporate partnerships. As I told you before, Greg, we got from these licensing partners till today $20 million undiluted money, and there are $130 million that we should get in the future based on success.
It's a truly fascinating story, Matti. Thank you for sharing it with us today.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you very much.
Now, to get more information on Can-Fite BioPharma, visit canfinfo.com. There, you'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies just like Can-Fite BioPharma. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met OS Therapies, OSTX, on the New York Stock Exchange American. OS Therapies stands out in the biopharma landscape with its dedicated mission to develop novel treatments for osteosarcoma, or OS, and other solid tumors. Through its innovative product candidates such as OST-HER2 and OST-TADC, the company is not only addressing a significant gap in pediatric and young adult cancer care, but also expanding its therapeutic reach to a broader range of solid tumors. As it advances through clinical stages, OS Therapies could significantly alter the trajectory of cancer treatment for a demographic long in need of breakthrough therapies. Learn more at www.ostxinfo.com. Then you met Can-Fite BioPharma, stock symbol CANF, on the New York Stock Exchange American. Can-Fite BioPharma is an advanced clinical stage drug development company with a platform of oral drugs designed to address multi-billion-dollar markets in the treatment of oncology and inflammatory diseases. The company has 2 drug candidates in advanced stages of development: piclidenoson for the treatment of psoriasis and namodenoson for the treatment of advanced liver cancer. For each of the drugs, a registration plan has been agreed with both the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency. An enrollment of patients for a pivotal phase 3 clinical study is ongoing for liver cancer and underway for psoriasis. Namodenoson also has a robust anti-cancer effect against pancreatic cancer. Due to the liver protective effect of namodenoson, a phase 2b study for the treatment of NASH, also known as MASH, is currently enrolling patients. Piclidenoson and namodenoson have an excellent safety profile, with experience in more than 1,600 patients in clinical studies to date. Learn more at www.canfinfo.com. Now, don't forget to check out our stocks page. It's the biggest small cap stock portal in the industry. It has every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with market capitalization of $2 billion and less. And it is categorized by industries. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, just call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.
Multiple sclerosis is a potentially disabling disease of the brain and spinal cord. Now, a small biotech company called Tiziana, stock symbol TLSA, on the NASDAQ, has applied for FDA fast-track designation approval for the treatment of non-active secondary progressive multiple sclerosis, a major milestone for Tiziana. If approved, Tiziana's faralumab would be the only intranasal monoclonal antibody for MS. Tiziana Life Sciences, symbol TLSA.
The global animal health market size was valued at $62.4 billion in 2023. Meet Zomedica, a New York Stock Exchange company, stock symbol ZOM, an innovative pet healthcare company helping veterinarians keep our pets healthy. Zomedica, first quarter revenue up 14%, 86% growth in diagnostics segment, 66% gross margins, and $91 million in liquidity and no debt. Zomedica, symbol ZOM.